Hi, I'm Ashley Cooley, a birth, baby, and sleep specialist and mom of 3. There's so much information out there, right? This show is dedicated to helping you clear out the noise so you can figure out what will work best for your baby and your family. If you're looking to learn more about your baby, gain more confidence in your parenting, and get as much sleep as you can through it all, you've come to the right place. Bringing up baby is about to get a little easier. Hey everybody, this is Ashley. Welcome back. I'm going to do a quick little episode here to answer 3 really common questions that I get and have gotten over the last 9 years or so that I've been specializing in birth, babies, and sleep. And they've actually been coming up a lot lately. So I figure why not share that, because there's probably some other people out there that want to hear the answers too. So the first one, let's just dive right in, shall we? The first one is around babies sleeping in their car seats. So we actually have an episode about car seats, the 3rd episode ever, actually, of the Bringing Up Baby podcast back in 2021. So you got to just scroll back there. But that episode was with Catherine Hudga, who works at Child Safety Link here at the IWK in Halifax. She's also part of the Child Passenger Safety Association of Canada. And that's where myself and a lot of us are trained as child passenger safety technicians, or car seat techs, if you will. So it's important to learn about car seats, and it's important to know and make sure your baby's safe and we can install them properly and they're riding safely every time. But these questions inevitably come up, so let's get into it. Is it okay for babies to sleep in the car seat, and for how long? Number 1, yes, it is. Number 2, this question comes up because we say that, hey, you should put babies to sleep on their backs. That's the safest position for them to breathe, and that they're open airways. But clearly when they're in a car seat, that's not the position that they're in, laying flat on their backs. However, it is the safest place for them to be in a vehicle. So they need to be in a car seat in a vehicle, and oftentimes, not always, of course, but a lot of times babies will fall asleep in the car seat when you're driving. And so that's when we are a little bit worried, right? Or maybe a lot worried. But I'm here to tell you to not worry. As long as baby's in the correct position in their car seat and that's installed safely, you can rest safely on that one. But let's talk numbers, shall we? There's really not a lot of research on this, to be quite honest with you. And in a nutshell, I'll just say that some of the research studies out there would say as little as 30 minutes we should be getting up, like adults should be getting out of the car and out from sitting down and standing up and stretching our legs, all the way up to potentially 2 hours. But again, it's not very well researched, especially not in babies. So here's what I'd say to that. And here's, it's to each their own. Everyone has to make their own decisions. But again, for the most part, we know that a lot of babies are going to fall asleep in the car seat. So anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, I guess take your pick within that time frame. But that's all that to say, and you really can't say that there's a safe number or time in the car seat. But, if we're getting up to, say, 3, 4, 5 hours plus, and especially on a regular basis, but even just once, that's a long time to be sleeping in a car seat, being not in such a great position. So I would say if you're going on a long road trip or something, get out at least every 2 hours so that you can break up the road trip for yourself, for the baby. You're probably going to have to feed them, maybe change a diaper, take a little break, stretch the legs and all that kind of stuff anyway. So hopefully that helps with that decision. There's actually a couple more, just like part A, B, and C to this question. Okay, so let's say baby has fallen asleep now in the car seat in the vehicle. You get home and you bring baby inside and they're still in that bucket seat and they're still sleeping, and you put them down, and by the time you take off your shoes and everything, you look over and they're still sleeping. Do you A, take them out of the seat and go play? B, take them out of the seat and go put them down in a safe space like their crib? Or C, do you leave them there and go finish that snack that you really wanted to finish earlier, and you actually get to go to the bathroom and not have to rush so much, and you're just checking on the baby every once in a while, but you got a couple things to do and you want to use your hands for them? All right, what are we picking here, A, B, or C? You know what? You can kind of pick any of them, whichever one you want. But it's true, you can. But let's just say you arrive at home and you get baby out, safe sleep and traveling recommendations would say this, that babies should be in a certified car seat at all times when they're in a vehicle. But when you arrive at a safe destination where you can place them down in a safe space to lie down to continue sleeping, you should do so. But I'll also say this, practically speaking, that example that I gave of your baby sleeping in the car seat and you just got home and you kind of just want to finish unloading the groceries, or you just got to do a couple things and you don't want to interrupt their sleep and all that stuff. We do it. A lot of us do it. I've done it. And I don't mean to say, oh, because I've done it, you should do it too. But just to say that we got to be practical here. And as long as you're not keeping baby in there for too long, you're still, making sure that it's certainly not more than 2 hours are going by, because that's what we would do if we were on a road trip. But here's the thing. I think it's really important to give a little tidbit for in case that happens to you, or in case you choose to leave baby sleeping in the car seat, because you can, because you're the parent and you're allowed. So if you're going to do it, let's do it as safely as possible is where we come down to, right? That's why hey, co-sleeping isn't recommended here in North America for sleeping with babies. However, we know lots of families do it. So if you are going to, here's how to do it safely. So that's where I'm coming with this. So if you do leave your baby to sleep in their car seat when you have arrived at your destination for a few more minutes, you do not want to loosen the straps. Okay, you actually want to keep them as snug as they would be as they were when they were in the vehicle. The reason for that is those straps are keeping baby in as safest position as possible. And if you loosen the straps thinking, oh, well, they might be more uncomfortable if they're tight this way, I'll just loosen them up and then get a little bit more comfy, or whatever that reasoning might be for you, actually it can put them in a more unsafe position. So if they are going to be in their car seat sleeping, or anytime in their car seat, to be honest, let's just make sure they're nice and snug and they're in their car seat properly. Okay, and last but not least, let's say you're going for a really long walk. The best option would probably be one of those bassinets that you can use for new babies. So they're laying flat and it's not on the car seat, but it has its own little stroller attachment. Not everyone has those bassinets though, and it's not accessible for everyone. So it's not a necessity, but that would be a great option. Second to that would be baby wearing. Put baby in a wrap or a carrier. That actually puts them in a much safer position. They're upright. Plus they get the added bonus of bouncing around with you while you're walking, and that helps to promote brain development, all the good things. So if you don't already know, we of course have an episode on baby wearing with Jolynn Swain from Nurtured Products for Parenting here in Halifax. But we also have a couple of videos in our Bringing Up Baby community, which is free, which you can access anytime, and I'll put the link in the show notes. But in that community, we have video for how to wear wraps and carriers safely and comfortably, and how to make it work for you and baby if you might be struggling with that. So go check that out. Looking for the best for your baby? Atlantic Canada's Baby Store is here for you. Nurtured, which is right here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, has the best products for baby. The staff are so incredibly helpful, and they have the most top-rated car seats and strollers you won't find anywhere else. So whether you need expert advice or the perfect baby gear, Nurtured's got you covered. Nurtured, supporting your parenting journey every step of the way. All right, next question. The 3 to 2 nap transition. What the hell is the question? What the hell? So what's going on here? The 3 to 2 nap transition is basically from between 6 to 8 months of age, typically. It varies baby to baby, but it's often a process of some days needing 2 naps, other days needing 3. And when they're going through that, and they're usually somewhere around 7 months of age or so when this is happening, and then they wake up from their second nap at 2:30 in the afternoon. But then they're not going to take that third nap because now they're starting to get in that mode of dropping it. And now it's like, okay, what do we do? Now it's a really long stretch to bedtime, or do I go out and try to, how do we force this nap? Like, what are we going to do? This happens to most families. I can almost promise you that, because when they're going through that transition, like I hear about it all the time that babies are waking up at like 2:30, 2:45 or somewhere in there. And you might wait a couple hours and then try a third nap, but then they don't sleep and they don't fall asleep because they're getting older, and that drive to sleep that late in the day is going down the drain because they're getting older. They can stay awake longer and they can start making the most of those other 2 naps that they had earlier. So then you're left with, okay, we got to get this baby ready for bed, get some supper in here because we're going to bed at 6 o'clock now. That's what we got to do in those situations. So when they're starting to drop that 3rd nap and that wake window at the end of the day is creeping up to be pretty long, it may be a stretch. Minimum, it would be 3 hours, ideally maximum when babies are on 2 naps a day, their wake windows are somewhere in the vicinity of 2.5 hours in the morning, 3 hours in between nap 1 and 2, and 3 hours in between nap 2 and bedtime. So that's going to bring them pretty close to 6 o'clock anyway. But if they're waking up at 2 o'clock or something like that earlier, always try at least for a 3rd nap. If they're not taking it in their crib, they might be more likely to take it if you went for a walk, put them in the carrier, or, driving around. Again, we were just talking about that. So it's okay to do that for a quick little cat nap. And then hopefully they'll get it in a later bedtime. But if not, then we're doing the early bedtime. So if anyone's in this transition right now or is about to be, and your little one's maybe 6 months of age, we're getting into the holidays here. How do we navigate this 3 to 2 nap transition when there's stuff going on? Maybe in the evenings we want to hang out with family, friends, and maybe want baby to be a part of that. Maybe we don't. And guess what? You can kind of use this to your advantage. So if we're ever needing or wanting babies to go to bed later, we want to stay up late, or we're going to be out or what have you, do what you got to do to get that 3rd nap. And maybe it is closer to 5 o'clock or something when they're having it. But, for this one occasion, so what? You want them to go to bed later, or you're going to be out, and this is going to make life easier. So maybe you can do that. On the flip side, you maybe want baby to go to bed early, maybe so that you can go have a date night, or you can go hang out with some friends, or you've got a place to be, or you just want to put baby to bed early to hang out with your other kids or do something else. The thought and sound of baby having an early bedtime for just any reason sounds great. So if that is happening, then aim for the 2 nap day, put them down for bed earlier. You're welcome. Okay. All right. So last but not least, the 3rd question is around, am I losing my supply? And this question comes up for those who are breastfeeding and who are usually in the realm of months 3, 4, or 5 postpartum. And it's very common because this is when the body is like adjusting and is really like, oh, okay, this is what your baby needs. And so we'll get rid of the rest, or we'll only make what baby needs. In the beginning, we were making lots because our hormones were at play as well. But now we know what the baby wants, so we're going to adjust. And then what happens is maybe our breast size changes, and we might notice that they don't feel as full in the mornings in particular when they may be used to. But let me tell you, you are not void of milk. You do not have less milk. Your supply hasn't gone down. More than likely, I should say, of course, it is possible at some point that your milk supply may diminish, and in which case I would highly recommend checking out or finding a lactation consultant that lives near you. And if you need help with that, I can certainly help you navigate and find one. But otherwise, if not a true supply issue, really what's going on in a lot of cases is the body adjusts. We notice that they feel less full, but that is normal. You're not empty. The breasts are not containers of milk, okay? Milk is made at the cellular level, and every time a baby feeds, it tells the brain, or every time milk leaves your body, really, your brain tells your body to make more, and that's what's going on. So you will always have milk as long as your baby is latching. I, of course, can't really say to you how much you have and all that stuff. That's very individual. But I just want you to know that it's very common for you to feel that you're losing your supply after a few months postpartum. But that's your body adjusting, and try to enjoy it. It could be nice. Maybe it's a nice welcomed surprise. I don't know. But yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, That's it for me today, guys. I hope that was helpful. I tried to give those little tidbits and nuggets wherever I could, but those, again, are some really common questions, and maybe one or two or all three of those were helpful to you. And if you think they might be to somebody else, feel free to share this episode. All right, guys, until next time. If you're looking for more information or support along your parenting journey, check out birthbabysleep.ca. That's where you're going to find prenatal classes, postpartum and new baby resources, and sleep support during the childhood years. Lastly, but certainly not least, if you got something out of this episode or our show in general, leaving a rating or a quick review goes a really long way to helping others find us. So please consider leaving one. That's all for now. I'm Ashley Cooley, and we'll see you back here next time.